Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Ryan with Michigan Storm Chasers. I'm going to give you guys the weekly update as we do every Sunday night. Let's go ahead and pop out the chat here and let's see who's all in watching this evening. What's up, Tony, Tina, Matthew, Robert, Tamarack? Let's see. Good evening, you guys. What's up? What's up? All right. So, if you're new to these streams, we are doing our weekly live stream where we hop on and we talk about the upcoming week. If there's any systems to watch, temperatures, rain chances, and then I'll peek at the long term as well, like into early May here. We're going to peek into the start of May, but also the 1 and 3 month period as well. So, welcome. Excuse me. Welcome to the stream, guys. Go ahead and hit the like button for me before we get started. And we got 86 people in here. Let's go ahead and get underway. So let's go ahead and run this back here to our temperatures for the week. We are in a little bit of a cool down. We talked about this last Sunday. We are in this cool down here. We have some freeze advisories in effect for this evening. Next couple of days are going to be on the colder side. And by that, I mean 50s, maybe 60s tomorrow for a high. But after that, back into the 50s for highs, dropping all the way down into the low 30s, perhaps even the high 20s for lows here. So freezing potential is definitely on the forecast, on the agenda early this week. But as we get toward Thursday and Friday, we see a warm up. Let's go ahead and run through the temperatures here on the GFS model. Starting with today, we had 50s today. Pretty cool, but a nice day if you had sun. The sun made it feel a bit warmer than what it actually was. But tomorrow, we're going to revive ourselves back into probably the low 60s for a majority of us, high 50s if not. But on Tuesday, we cool back down, likely going to be in the 40s, maybe low 50s there. And then as we get into the Wednesday time frame, here's our coldest night of the week. It's going to be Tuesday night into Wednesday. Lows could reach into the mid 20s here. So hard freeze potential here in play here for the entire state. But as we get into Wednesday, the warm air starts building back up to our south and west. Another nice night of 20s for Wednesday night. But as we get into Thursday, that's when our warmer weather comes back into play here. We're looking at probably mid to high 50s for Thursday and then into Friday. Here is our warmth. We are resurgent back into the 60s. A low pressure develops off to our west. Take note of that. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then that's going to drive up warmth and also moisture into our area. So it's going to be a little bit of a more of a muggy type of end of the week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday time period here. And then we could also be looking at our first widespread 80-degree day here as well somewhere on the weekend. Wouldn't be shocked to see that as well. But keep an eye out on this low pressure system. We have two of them we're watching towards the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday time frame. First one is on Friday/Saturday. Second one comes on about Monday or so. But with those low pressure systems in place, that drives the warmer air into our area. So after we get through the first couple of days of this week, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we look ahead to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The last half of the upcoming week is going to be warmer by a long shot here. So only a couple days more so of our cold to deal with, and then we're back into spring and perhaps summer-like temperatures trying to fit in there as well. So with that being said, with those two low pressure systems are the systems that give us our precipitation, snow, rain, and perhaps severe weather chances as well if the conditions are right. But we have two of those swinging through here at a good time frame here. We're going to look at some storm potential, and we're going to dive into that here in just a second. So let's get this microphone clipped to me. There we go. So go ahead and dive in really quickly here to our precipitation. Now, let's go ahead and click this. Where'd it go? Right here. Cool. This is our precipitation type. Green is rain. Snow is obviously blue. Shouldn't be looking at too much snow, if any at all, for the UP up there. But first chance of some rain here is going to be in that Tuesday morning time frame, late Monday night, Tuesday morning. Some quick passing showers likely for the majority of the state. Again, on Tuesday during the day as well, we have some chances of rain and perhaps some lingering snowflakes further north you go, where temperatures may be trying to linger closer to freezing. Overall, that should stay rain with just some snow showers further north mixing in perhaps. That's our only real chance that I see for precip until we get to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that low pressure system, we see the center of it over here across Nebraska here. The center of it's over here. It swings that warm front over across the region, and that cold front drives the precipitation through the area. So Friday, rain. Saturday, likely going to have lingering rain. Sunday, rain. It's going to be a pretty rainy situation here for a couple days straight, at least 3 or 4 days straight. But when we overlap the warmth here with the moisture, and we also couple it with wind shear, we're watching this time frame closely, and that's because with these low pressures driving that warmth and moisture further north into our area, we're looking at multiple chances of storm potential, not just rain, but storm potential, but also the possibility of a couple of those chances, a couple of those days, should I say, have chances of perhaps severe weather here. Now, we do have one thing I want to highlight here is we do have a risk that is highlighted out to our west currently for this upcoming Friday. It's over in Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, further south there. So it's not our area, but that system does shift further east on Saturday. So we're watching Saturday closely. Going back to the model here, we're going to overlap the instability with wind shear to get a composite here. A color on your screen is basically just saying, hey, there's wind shear overlapping with instability here. Doesn't guarantee severe weather, doesn't guarantee storms. It's just a tool that we can kind of use for guidance to say, hey, we have some ingredients here. So looking at Friday, we see that risk off to our west, highlighted pretty well by this model here. But let's go ahead and shift into Saturday. That shifts more so into our area here. So Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, back down through Missouri, and back down through the central and southern plains there. So Saturday is a day to watch for some storms, perhaps some severe weather. Way too far out to get detailed. It does support the chance of storm/severe weather. However, details at this range are just kind of muddled. So it's just something we're watching at this point. Saturday would be a good day to kind of monitor in the future, or in the coming days, should I say. I wouldn't be shocked to get into a day 4 or day 5 type of risk if this continues. Now let's go ahead and move off into Sunday here. Saturday is not the only chance we're going to have. Sunday, that secondary low pressure system develops out to the west here. We see this composite shift further back west, but the warm front along this warm front here extends all the way into Michigan, Ohio, even in western Pennsylvania there. Along that warm front would be additional chances of showers and storms, and maybe again, perhaps severe weather for next Sunday. Again, we're way too far out to get detailed. It's just what we're seeing right now. But then again, as that low pressure moves off into the eastern part of the region here, again, a renewed chance of showers and storms on Monday. We see the composite shift more so eastern into our area, Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, eastern Illinois, back down further south into Dixie Alley. So the overall takeaway from this is that an active stretch of weather is definitely upcoming. We're going to have multiple chances of showers and storms, and these systems do tend to support severe weather. I'm not saying we're going to have severe weather. I'm saying the pattern would support it. Okay, so we're going to get detailed more so midweek. We'll have more confidence, and we will let you guys know if the SPC does highlight any risks between now and then. But overall, this model also has support here from many other models. The European model is also on board. One thing we also look, excuse me, one thing we also look at here is a combination of models run over and over. We call them ensemble models. Now, again, this is going to be kind of hard for you guys to see here, but this is a map of 20 different model members that are run over and over. This is what the solution spits out here. It's a view of the Midwest here. Michigan is on each map up here in the top right corner. Hope you guys can make that out here. If we move through the time frame here into Thursday, this is the exact same composite we looked at about 2 minutes ago. Exact same model map here. This is just 20 members. So this is Friday. We have that risk out there highlighted pretty well out to our west. Moving into Saturday, we have almost every single model here does indicate some form of potential overlap of ingredients for severe weather. I'm not saying it's going to be a guaranteed lock, but we are seeing strong signals that this could be the case. That Saturday, let's move into Sunday here. We have again exact same signal here on most all of these models in the area here of Michigan, getting the exact same composite color showing up here. And again, going into Monday, some of these models kind of wear off here as we get further away. The timing on this really starts to the timing, but also confidence on this starts to dive. So it's going to be more scattered. But again, some of these models still picking up on that renewed chance on Monday as well. But as we get into Monday, we kind of clear out there. Tuesday may be a day to watch too, but I think we'll be out of the state by Monday unless anything slows down. Still a lot of time to deal with this. Still a lot of time to crunch these data points and get a forecast made. But overall, we'll get specific here midweek, Wednesday, Thursday timeframe. We'll have a good idea of what to expect. But overall takeaway, active pattern, potential storms, some could be severe. Okay. Looking at a few other of these points here, we are going to be looking at that warm up coming up. Here's your temperature graph. I'll go ahead and try. I guess I can't zoom in, can I? Hopefully, you guys make that out on your screen there. This is a bar graph of temperatures. This is going to be based out of Grand Rapids here. So the next couple of days here, 50 in order here. Sunday today was 50. Tomorrow 60. Tuesday 62. Dive back into Wednesday at 53. Thursday 57. Then we warm back up 64. And then we're into 70, 73, 74, 69, 66, 70, 72, 71, 70. So the takeaway from this, and also take a peek at the low temperatures there as well in the later part of next week. We're in the 50s there. So after this cold snap here, I don't see many other areas or concerns coming up on the models that would indicate a dive back toward freezing temperatures. I think after we get through the upcoming early part of this upcoming week here, we're going to be looking at warmer temperatures are going to stick around here. Looking at the Climate Prediction Center's forecast here from the next 6 to 10 days, also out to 3 months here. The 6 to 10 day is right here on your screen. This is going to be the 6 to 10 day here. We have Michigan in the warmer than average. It has about a 40 to 50% chance of above normal temperatures for the April 27th to May 1st time frame. Going a little bit further out, the 8 to 14 day, again, Michigan is really in that warmer zone there. Again, 40 to 50% chance of warmer than average temperatures with this as well. When we go to 3 to 4 weeks out, we're seeing the exact same warmer than average temperature guidance there. For most all of Michigan, if not all of Michigan, yeah, the entire state of Michigan, actually, in that warmer than average here for the 3 to 4 week time frame. Let's go out to 1 month here. And again, we have that 1 month outlook. That's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted right here. The 1 month outlook is showing the above average temperatures, and also into the 3 month outlook as well. We are seeing the exact same pattern here. So we are going to be talking warmer than average and probably more than likely wetter than average through May. That's all I'm going to say. Looking at the long-term forecasts into early parts of May, we're likely going to stay above average, probably low to mid 70s, probably some days trying to touch 80 there. Definitely on the table with this. But as we get into May, the overall pattern trend does support warmer and also wetter. This is a very typical spring pattern that we see. Usually out to our west, but this year we're getting blessed with, or maybe not blessed, depending on what kind of weather you like. But the warmer temperatures after these next couple of days do look to stick around here, at least probably 60s and 70s, with low sticking right around that 50, mid 50 mark here from here on out. So, with that being said, you guys got questions in regards to the upcoming week? Like I said, I'm not going to be able to answer specific questions about severe weather or anything like that. We're going to have to wait and see. But overall, the pattern into May is supporting that chance of not only warmer temperatures, but the active pattern that continues here. We've been getting these systems about once or twice a week, or should I say once or twice every about 10 days or so. We have a system moving through that's usually either rain or a small chance of some severe weather. Like we had the last one here in the state. We had a slight risk of severe weather there. But we're in this pattern here of nonstop storms system, should I say, moving through. So that does not look to stop here anytime soon. With that being said, you guys have any questions? We can plant our gardens early. Yes, Mystic, I have a couple questions about that on the page today. I do think after, we'll say next weekend, after we get into the Friday, Saturday timeframe next weekend, you'll be safe. Again, we'll probably post on the page if we're looking at any upcoming freeze potential. But on the horizon here, I don't see anything that suggests a dip back down toward freezing here past next weekend. We're talking for low temperatures. High temperatures are going to stick right around the low 50s at the lowest here, but low temperatures still matter for plants. Looks like all the people going to Detroit for the NFL draft are going to get wet. What is that? Is that this Saturday, Friday, Saturday? That would be the case. Yeah, definitely a good chance of that happening. I should know when that is. I'm a big Lion fan, and I do not know when the draft is. It's kind of weird being a good team for once, not really worrying about the draft much at all. I'm a new sub. Loved you guys. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Tamarack. How much rain do you think we could get next weekend and Monday? Again, a little bit too far out to stay specifics, but wouldn't be shocked to exceed an inch or two in some spots, given that we have 3 or 4 back-to-back days of precipitation, especially if we get thunderstorms. that could produce heavy rain. We have localized areas there. We could probably see a couple inches of rain. Not going to be out of the question, but overall, probably about an inch or so would be a good guess, but we're still a little bit too far out to get specific. Are we chasing Friday? Of course we're chasing. We're Michigan storm chasers. Of course we're going to chase storms. Could we see a 15% risk for tomorrow morning? You mean for the upcoming weekend? It's a possibility. We do have one off to our west for Illinois here. We could see that extended further east there. I can see some confidence being had with doing that. Again, I don't make those decisions. It's up to the SPC, but I could definitely see one being introduced here. If not tomorrow, if it's coming a couple days here, by the time we get to Wednesday, Thursday at the latest, probably. Chip, I think you are good to do that after next week. I think that we could see some freeze potential this week. In fact, tonight there are freeze advisories, or are they called advisories or warnings? I'm not familiar with that with that criteria. It's called a frost advisory. So we have a frost advisory tonight. So definitely keep your scrapers in your cars for this upcoming week. But as we get toward next weekend, you can probably put those away. I believe May will be very active here. I do too. Orlo. I'm going to the Tiger game on Friday. It's supposed to rain. Yes, Kendall, there is a chance of rain as of right now. That could change, but I think the confidence locked in here, precipitation somewhere between Friday and Monday, perhaps Tuesday as well. 4 or 5 days here of precipitation chances do exist. I do want to mention and highlight the potential on Tuesday as well. The SPC does have most of Michigan in a general thunderstorm risk here. Not a severe risk, it's just general thunderstorms. So don't be shocked if you have a thunderstorm on Tuesday. Shouldn't be severe though. I don't see much in the way of ingredients coming together for severe weather. It's just should be some general rain and some storms. If the SPC highlights us in a 15% outlook, could that indicate a likelihood that by day one they would get us an enhanced risk or higher? Matthew, that does seem to correlate well when they put outlooks out further in advance. Usually it becomes like a enhanced or moderate, although not always. A lot depends on that day 3 time frame. You focus really heavily on day 3. So that would be, if today is Sunday, that would be for the risk on Tuesday or Wednesday. When we get to that 3-day period, that's when confidence really starts to increase. So when we get to that point, that's when these setups usually make or break themselves, so to speak. So just because you have a 15% risk, 5 or 6 days in advance, it can change. It can downtrend a lot between a day 6 and day 3 time frame, if that makes sense. Wait 15 minutes. It's Michigan. That is correct. So where should we go if you want to chase? I don't mean to be rude, Jen, but if you're asking where you should chase, you probably shouldn't be chasing. I don't mean that to be rude, but if you're going to storm chase, you should have the knowledge to know where to go, how to forecast, so on and so forth. If you want to learn, there are tools we can provide you. Messages to page, we'll gladly send you those. But it's a dangerous thing to be out there, so don't suggest doing it if you don't know how to pick a target. What's going on Friday? Storm chances, Chris. Rainstorms, potential severe weather threats from Friday to Monday to Tuesday-ish. But again, confidence in the exact details, timing, exact days, still unknown. The overall pattern supports that. But right now, just looking at probably more than likely rain and storm chance at the very least. We had this similar pattern here. We had 2 or 3 days we were looking at this past week. Back on our last week's live stream, we looked at 2 or 3 days of potential chances of severe weather. And here in Michigan, there ended up being one back on, what day was it? Wednesday or so. We were covering that live. Not much happened in the state. Luckily, we had some storms try to spin up there. Luckily, nothing ever happened with that. But when we talk about long-term patterns, we have 4 days we're watching. Would not be shocked if we have only one day out of those 4, evolve into some type of threat. It's just a timing pattern we're watching. That we're going to be watching closely. Alec, I do not see your question. Let me scroll back up here. I believe I already answered that. About 1 inch or so, probably a good guess. But again, we're still a bit too far out to get detailed on how much precip. Could see some localized flooding though, given we have 4 days of potential rain. With potential storms Saturday, Sunday, and your best guess, do you think they'd be all day? I love to get a bike ride or walk in, especially if it's warmer. I don't think they're going to be all day. There's going to be breaks in between precipitation chances, so you'll probably have time to walk there for sure. Leave the scrapers in your car until mid-June so it doesn't jinx us. That is a top tier comment, Julie. It is Michigan. Wait 5 minutes, but no, I think that after this upcoming week, you guys should be safe to put those away. I don't want to jinx it. That's not the point I'm making here, and just I don't see that potential coming back in the long term. We can take snowplows off though, John. I think you're safe to do that for sure. Of course, I say that now, I'll probably get some kind of snowstorm on the next couple of runs of the models. Oh, I hope not. I hope not. Hope it doesn't rain next week. I have to work at Pine Knob. Do not like working in the rain. I don't think anybody does. Unless it's really hot out, then rain can be kind of refreshing. But I'll be in DC on vacation, so the severe storm and tornado warning should pop like popcorn because I won't be around to chase. Oh, Kyle, funny how that always works out. It really is. Does the upcoming system support tornadoes, or is that too far out as well? So, Matthew, that's a great question. Initial thought and comment on that is it's too far out. Okay. But I will say, with this low pressure system, the ones that they're or the ones that we're looking at more so, we have two of them coming through. The second one, the later one, catches my eye more so for some tornadic potential. But again, we're still way far away. That could be in Michigan. It could be out west in Iowa. It could be a lot of places here. But I do think there's going to be some threat for those. It's just way too far out to get specific on where. Seems tornadoes are coming earlier than there are more of them. Am I correct? And there are more of them. Okay. Should we buckle up in Michigan for more severe and more intense storms in the foreseeable future? Chip, that is a great question. This year's pattern, and we actually covered this extensively back in the early parts of February. In fact, if you go to our Facebook page, there is a post that is pinned explaining our forecast for the upcoming season. And we literally called out an early season and an active season. So, so far, the overall pattern is shaping up just how we predicted it. And I don't see this slowing down anytime soon into May. As we get to late May, things can change. But this pattern has been in place here since February, since our first couple tornadoes in February back on the 27th. And this same pattern is still going here. So we'll likely be in this pattern for a little bit longer here into May. So yes, expect this active trend to continue with chances of severe weather all throughout. It seems like about a week or so. Every week we're hopping on here talking about some type of threat upcoming. This is no exception. Big question. When is summer going to get here? Michael, that is actually a great question. And the honest answer is, on the surface, we don't know yet. On the deeper end of things, I will say some data on the models are really hinting at May being really warm. So keep that in the back of your mind. Not going to say how warm just because we don't have that data yet. But some of these models are really trying to hint at a very warm mid-May, should I say, mid-May. That can change. It probably will change, but just keep that in mind. If you're a summer lover, your next hope of 80 plus would be probably be in May at some point. You too, Alec. You guys got commercials? Those should not be turned on. I thought I turned those off for this stream. Let me know if you guys are getting commercials, because those should be off for these informative live streams. And also when we stream radar and stuff like that, those should be turned off. Do those yellows on the map you showed us indicate higher instability and wind shear? Are you talking about this map right here? This is basically a map that overlays wind shear and also instability. So down here at the very bottom, there's a graph here from gray, which is 0.25, all the way up to 35, which is an aqua color. So greens and lighter, like greens and yellows, on the lower end of the spectrum. Orange, red, purples, pinks, aquas, those are the higher end of the spectrum. So yes, as you get towards the orange, reddish, pink colors, that means there's more of an overlap of instability and wind shear there. So when we see the oranges, yellows, even, we kind of get more so concerned. Not always. Just because we have this in the area does not mean and guarantee severe weather. Nothing like that. It's just saying, hey, we got some ingredients coming together that may support severe weather if conditions are right. Just had one. Not seems like everybody's mixed on this. Just had one. Not me. Not me. It was a short one. It was awesome. Got a commercial. You guys should not be seeing commercials. I'll have to fix that. Jen says, not being rude, some people shouldn't chase. You are correct. I was just asking for your opinion on the recent data. I'm 41, been chasing since I was 19 when I first got my first truck. So the correct answer, if you guys don't know, if you don't know how to forecast, don't chase, stuff like that. But the correct answer to your question there, Jen, is it's too far really in advance to get specific. I think that'd be a question to ask more so towards Wednesday and Thursday. If I were to say, a place now, we can go to the model map here, and we can cherry pick a spot here based on just this model run. Okay. For example, this model says Monday afternoon there's going to be a chance of some storms over here in West Michigan. All right. This is our 195. This is next Monday. But if we compare the previous runs here, this is the last run. Where'd it go? This is the last run. You see how this is kind of bouncing around here? The overall trend here is that there's a system in the area. Okay. But if we were to say, hey, let's go to Grand Rapids, for example, and let's go chase, the next model run may go like this. Well, Grand Rapids isn't a target anymore. So overall, wait for models to get confidence, and then at that point, figure out where to chase at. Do you think the threat for Michigan would be low? It is way too far out to say for sure there, Jordan. Way too far out. The overall trend and pattern suggests activity, yes, from Friday to Monday. Be on alert for future forecasts, for sure. We'll update you. But to get specific at this point, we just can't do that yet. Any other questions, guys? Having a good stream tonight, good conversation. If you guys got questions, keep them coming. I got some energy tonight. Is MSC your full-time job? It feels like it. It feels like it. So the short answer is yes and no. I do have a online data analyst job, but it's flexible. And whenever there's storms, MSC is my priority. So technically, kind of yes, MSC is my job, but I don't make full-time income from it. We are self-funded, self-supported. We only have very minimal ways of receiving monetization, which is subscriptions from you guys, stars, memberships on YouTube, stuff like that. That kind of goes back for gas money, mainly for chasing, but also kind of covers the cost of platform usage and stuff like that. Because streaming is not free at all. We have to pay a fee for the platform we use. We have to pay for fees to automate our warnings for the pages. There's a lot of stuff that goes out. So it definitely is not full-time income, but it definitely feels like a full-time job. If the temperature is equal to humidity or greater, does that mean there's going to be severe weather? Not at all, Tanya. Not at all. Humidity rises when there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, so to speak. It could be just rain. It could be storms, but not always the case there. For those that like weather history, today marks 57 years since the F3 that hit Grand Rapids, the strongest tornado ever in the city limits. Thank you for that, Kyle. I'm sure Mike would be appreciative of that. don't know if you're watching here, Mike, but Mike is a big tornado history. I guess I'm not going to say freak, but he is big into the history of Michigan's tornadoes. We actually have a tornado map that we have posted on our page as well of every tornado that's happened between 2000 and 2024. So, what's up, Drew? It's way too far out, but on Saturday, looking at models, what would be the greatest threat? Again, I can't really answer that. If I had to guess, it'd be an all hazard type of threat. But for Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, not at all. We'll see. These types of systems would support potential for at least some tornadic activity, but again, specifically where and how big of a threat, if any at all, we're not going to know that yet. What's the dew point supposed to be on Friday? There's going to be an abundance of moisture, actually. Looking at Friday. Okay, Friday. So we're looking at probably low to mid 60s all throughout this period here. That's going to support a lot of rain potential, but also that storm potential as well. For Friday, though, Friday, the threat is further off to the west, more so than it is here. But down here where that risk is, we're looking at mid 60s here. But Saturday, Sunday, Monday, that's when those 60 dew points push up into the air, which is why it's in blue there. That's where the mark at 60 starts, is in blue. Thunder showers Tuesday. I did cover that, Drew. Yes, there is some potential for some thunderstorms back on Tuesday here, next couple days. Not expecting these to be severe, just some general rain showers, thunderstorms in the area. If this changes, we'll let you guys know. But right now, we're not seeing anything that would say, hey, there's going to be severe weather Tuesday. No, just going to be some general showers and storms to enjoy. I've enjoyed watching you guys for close to 2 years now. Just wanted to say thanks. Appreciate you, Matthew. Appreciate you. All right, I don't see any more questions popping in chat here. So if you guys got any further questions, feel free to drop those in chat. Otherwise, I'll look to hop off here momentarily. It's been a good conversation tonight, guys. How did you get into loving weather and learning so much starting MSc? That can go a long way. That can be a long story. Shorten this, I got into weather dating back to when I was a kid, taking shelter in my basement with my family. I was scared at the point, but at that point, I was always just curious. Why are we taking shelter? I was just a kid, didn't really understand it. Fast forward to 2010, we had a tornado hit close to my town. Some of you guys watching familiar, Dundee. 2010, we had an EF2 tornado that struck Dundee, Michigan, Monroe County, southeast Michigan parts. Saw the damage there, and ever since then, I've just kind of been more so interested in tornadoes. Started watching Discovery Channel, Storm Chasers, Reed Timmer, got on the hook, and then just started learning all I could, taking as many classes, watching as many videos from, various sources from the SPC, from some of you guys may know Skip Talbot, Convective Chronicles. There's a lot, Tornado Titans. There's a lot of stuff out there to learn. I've just been nonstop with that pursuit of knowledge, and it's carried over to MSc. MSc started. For those of you who don't know, I was a part of a storm chasing group out of Indiana for a while, but my heart has always been in Michigan. So Michigan didn't have a storm chasing page, and voila, Michigan Storm Chasers was born. Did you guys chase or stream June 26, 2020? I thought you might have, but can't seem to find a way. So Michigan Storm Chasers has only existed for about a year and a half. So we did chase our personal. I was chasing that day. I was also chasing June 26, 2021. We had a outbreak of tornadoes in West Michigan there. Some of you guys may have remembered a couple of those. But I was chasing that day for sure. We may have a couple videos on our personal pages of that, but not on MSc. Does Michigan have a tornado alley? You guys are killing the questions tonight. Yes, there are areas in Michigan that are prone to tornadoes. And what I mean by that is there is an alley up by, we'll say, can I bring up a map by chance? let's go ahead and bring this in really quickly here. Whoops. That ain't gonna work. I'll just go ahead and tell you guys. I was trying to share the exact. Never mind. Yes, there is one. There's one near, we'll say, just south of Flint, near the area of Perry. There's one there that stretches all the way from Grand Rapids over to just south of Flint. There's one there. There's one down further south in the Lenawee County, Monroe County area. That general area has a concentrated area of tornadoes that seem to occur. And then there's also an area in West Michigan, I want to say off Allegan, Van Buren County areas. Over there, they have quite a few. The further north you go, the less chance there is. Like north of Mount Pleasant, really, it drops off. And that's because a lot of times our moisture and ingredients don't make it up that far north. But overall, the further south you go, the higher your chances of tornadoes in Michigan. But there are a few areas, we'll say tornado alleys here in Michigan. The main one is roughly from Grand Rapids over to just south of Flint. Just found you guys this past January. Love you guys. Appreciate you, Kathy. I actually remember when you guys used to stream weather events and you only had 2 to 3 people in there, and now it's a lot bigger. Yeah, yeah, that's the good old days. Remember back our first stream that really took off was back last year, the Colin tornado back on July, I want to say 12th, was it? We only had like about 500 people watching at the time. We had an actual tornado on stream. And now our latest stream just did close to 75,000 views. Our one before that did close to 150,000. So we're growing rapidly. We'll continue to do that. So it's awesome to kind of think back of where we were about a year ago, but it's all because of you guys. Really, it's all because of you guys. When was the last moderate risk in Michigan? Ooh, that's a great question. That is a great question. I want to say it was 2020, June 10th, 2020. I could be wrong on that. So don't quote me, but I want to say June 10th, 2020. Oh yeah, that was a day and a half. Go ahead and bring this in here, guys. So here's June 10th, 2020. Here's our storm reports. If you can notice up here in Michigan, we had a plethora of wind damage reports here in Michigan. But looking at the outlook here, let's go to the 16Z. There is your moderate risk that we had there on June 10th of 2020. So that's the last one I remember. We may have had one in 2021. I don't think we did, but that's the last one that I remember. I stumbled on some audio videos that sounded like your voices. Can't find them now. My house experienced a very odd phenomenon. I have been trying to identify that night. Can you repost if you have it? Are we talking June 26, 2020? I believe we're talking about here. I will have to get with the guys and perhaps yes. Let me know what you experienced though and where you're at. Is Tornado Alley moving further east with the El Nino switching to La Nina? Do you think necessarily with the Enzo pattern? No. Overall, between the last like 8 to 10 years, it has really shifted east. That could be because of an actual shift, but I think it's more so just kind of evening out. The plains have been kind of quiet lately, so I don't expect that to continue. But overall, yes, tornadoes have shifted further to the east here over the past, we'll say, 10 years or so. Appreciate you, Mystic. Mystic, I believe you are our first channel member here on YouTube, so that's awesome. Appreciate you. I found you guys the recent night when the tornado touched down in Grand Blanc. A lot of people found us that night too. We were the only people besides Ryan Hall who was streaming that event here for Michigan. And even he wasn't really focused too much on it. He was on it for like 5 minutes and he kind of focused back to Illinois where they had chasers. So he didn't really talk too much about it in depth. So really, we're the only people who are on here doing that. So just a ride. Can you do a quick recap of potential storms next week? Yes, I can. So Scott and Emily, The overall pattern is trending active between next Friday and next Tuesday. So about 4 or 5 days in there, we're watching for potential storm, and also if any severe activity happens, it would be in that time frame. Overall, upcoming week, Tuesday, some storm chances, no severe weather expected. Next couple of days will be a little bit cooler for low temperatures, right around the mid to high 50s for highs. We get to Friday, Saturday next week, or this upcoming week, should I say? We're looking at 70s, high 60s, all on out, low temperatures back in the mid 50s. So after this upcoming week here, next couple of days, we're looking at warmer temperatures, but also the active pattern continues here. And watch Friday to Tuesday of the upcoming week for some potential storm and perhaps severe weather. But that is the general consensus of the upcoming week. Worst day of my life, PTSD. We're talking Grand Blank night, Holly. Where is the closest tornado to hit you? 5 miles from me. The closest one, you're talking like chasing or where I live? If we're talking where I live, there was actually a tornado last year on April 1st that hit Dundee again. It was a weaker one, EF0, but that was probably not even 5 miles from my house. And I couldn't even chase that day. I was so mad at myself. But chasing, I've had a tornado pretty much 100 yards, a couple hundred yards in front of me. Been pretty close to some. Oh, June 2020th. Yeah, there's a lot of wind damage that day. A lot of it. Any favorite chase days? You mentioned 6/26/21 as one of your favorites. Favorite chase day? Man, that would be a tie between May 20th of 2020. I believe that date was, and probably a combination of the. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. There's been too many. One of my most memorable days of tornadoes would be June 18th of 2021 in Indiana. Saw an EF2, almost EF3 tornado with Joel here on staff here. We were both down there chasing together, and we got to see that tornado. That was a pretty good day for chasing. June 26th wasn't bad, although I didn't see a tornado. I was on 4 or 5 different storms that may have produced, or that could have produced, should I say. But 6/26 stands out to me because I got to survey damage after the fact. And that when you get to survey damage, that kind of just hits a little bit harder for you to kind of see the damage that these storms that you're chasing actually do. So it sticks out in that way. But overall chasing, I'd probably just say June 18th. But if I thought about it long enough, I could probably think of a couple other dates to give you as well. In short, sum it up as general terms of southerly wind collide with northerly wind at my house and give a play-by-play. So, Jess, that was likely back to June 26th here of 2020. When these winds shift like that, we can have what we call mesovortexes, or so to speak. When we have these lines of storms, we can have like wind shifting among it. It can be from a tornado, but it could also just be from a upper level. We call a mesovort basically, and that can shift your winds around a little bit. Was there a tornado that you looked at on velocity said it's going to be EF3 plus? Honestly, Matthew, looking at velocity is a really good tool to utilize for that. The last one that I would probably say I looked at would be Weberville of last year. I have never seen a velocity signature like Weberville did back on August 24th. That was a insane day. But luckily that was only an EF2. It didn't really hit too many structures, thank God. But other than that, there was a couple. There was Mayfield back in Kentucky. Looking on that one, that was pretty obvious that was going to be a strong tornado. But yeah, there's been a couple times. I do not, Kendall. I do not remember that. Was that back a couple years ago by the Detroit radar? If that's the one, then yes, I remember that one. Otherwise, I don't recall that one off the top of my head. 5/20/22 was my most memorable chase, close range footage. I remember that, Kyle. I still have your footage that I was going to post. I forgot to do that. We are working on multiple historical days here. It's just a slow process here, being so busy and also kind of balancing work life, stuff like that. So Kyle has some awesome footage of the Gaylord tornado. We got to post on the page with a little bit of a background history and stuff like that. But yeah, Kyle, that was some really good footage there. I tried to get up there that day, but I couldn't make it. I ended up busting from the cap back down here further south toward Grand Rapids. April 7th, 2020, you had some storms in West Michigan. Can you look back to that day? I can. I can. Give me 1 second here. That's a lot of hail there. So here's April 7th, 2020. We had a enhanced risk across South Michigan there, similar to what we had back on August 24th, really. This is back in 2020. So yeah, we had the enhanced risk. We also had quite a bit of hail reports showing up there as well. Looking back at the storm reports, all the hail, 1 or 2 wind reports there. No tornadoes that I see back on that day. But yeah, that's a pretty good day there as well. I'm actually, I was chasing that day. I ended up taking shelter in a carport, I believe, or a car wash actually, because it was at night and I had a gigantic supercell coming at me and it was just chucking hail. I believe that's tonight. I actually have a video of that on my personal YouTube page. So if I think that's tonight, I believe it is. We're just having a good conversation here, guys. I thought we should wrap this up here pretty soon. June 26th, hit Riverside, Little Paw Paw Lake, Loma area, Berrien. It's becoming a session. Figure this out. Jazz, I will look back on radar. Actually, why not? Let's load up our handy dandy radar scope here. And let's go back to that day. Because why not? So the great news, hopefully this works. Don't quote me. This may not work. But we go ahead and click up here. We can go back in time. So let's go back here to June 26th of 2020 and see what pops up. Do you recall the time frame there, Jess? We'll go ahead and put it at 8:47 here. And let's go ahead and take a look here. So there is what the radar looked like back here on the June 26, 2020 at 8:47 p.m. Pretty good line of storms there off the lake. Ah, that day. I remember this day quite well, actually. This is a day that so let's go ahead and bump this forward here. So you're by the Paw Paw Lake area, you said there, Jess. Let's go ahead and select this here. Let's go ahead and get this up and going here. Julie, it is only an option if you have the pro version of this, which we have, so we can actually utilize it for streaming. So this radar kind of lags a bit here, so I'm not sure I can get this pulled up here, but I can pretty much tell you what happened here by Paw Paw Lake. So if we look on radar, again, this is back on June 26th. This isn't live for anybody that's tuning in. This is back. We're going through some history here. But where we see these areas here where this green and red is meeting here, that's an area that was trying to, we'll say, rotate a little bit in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So when that passed over you, likely we had wind shifting there, which is exactly what happened. So we call mesovortexes for a good name, I guess you can call them mesovortexes, mesocyclone, they spin. But overall, what happened there is as it crossed over you, winds going one way, get to that other coloration, the reds, it goes the other way. So that is likely what happened there in Paw Paw Lake. How do you access this? This is on Radar Scope, but you got to buy the Pro version, which is pretty expensive. You also have the option to go back on Radar and Radar Omega, but it stops at 2021. You only go back about 2 or 3 years there. Radar Scope lets you go back a few years, probably back in the 20 teens, honestly. Do you remember July 26, 2023? Yes, I do. Yes, I do, funny. All right, guys. I'm gonna hop off here pretty soon here. Good conversation here, but on here about an hour or so talking with you guys. I always enjoy hopping on here, conversing with you guys, giving you guys updates. But for those of you just tuning in here, we'll go over everything one more time briefly. But overall, here I see one more question: if you got caught in the path of a tornado on your vehicle, would you abandon your vehicle and hit the ditch? Being a storm chaser, I could avoid that pretty easily. If you're general public, if you have a ditch, yes. If not, put your seatbelt on, get low, cover your head. Scott, give me a time frame and area. I can try and pull that up. While he does that, or Scott or Emily, whoever is watching, I don't want to assume. But overall, Tuesday, some storm chances in Michigan. No severe weather is expected, just some general rain showers, storms. Upcoming week, next couple of days, cooler side of things, 50s, low 60s for highs, low temperatures towards freezing. A couple of those days in the mid 20s, high 20s for lows, hard freezing possible. If you guys got plants, cover them. Looking ahead, warms up Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Potential for storms, rain, and that area Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday would be supportive if we're going to get severe weather anytime soon. It's going to be in that time frame. Okay, that's your overall synopsis of the upcoming week here. After we get toward Friday, Saturday next week, but let's rephrase that. The warm up continues into May. We'll be looking at above average temperatures and probably above average precipitation. So our rain and storm chances continue into early May, and some models do indicate mid-May into late May, maybe warm, more so summer-like warmth. So with that being said, Scott, Plainwell 8 to 10 p.m. I can try that. Go ahead and pull that up over here. I'm pulling up behind the scenes here, see if I can access it real quickly for you. You said where Plainwell 8 to 10. Let's go back here. April 7th, you said? Yeah, 2020. Okay. Let me pop it up here and see what I can get. Do you have a time? Okay, 8 to 10. I am a short-term memory loss tonight. Yeah, here we go. Let's go ahead and pop this in chat here. Let's go ahead and try this. Yeah, that looks like a pretty good storm there. Let's go ahead and share screen here for you. Let's go ahead and pop this in. Bam. So here is your storms back on April 7th. And this is the day that I was chasing. I was actually, where was I at? I'm trying to think here. I was at Seagull, Plainwell area. I might have been there. No, I was. But yeah, there's your radar back then. Here's Plainwell, so a pretty good hail chucker there. That's for sure. But I was chasing that night, and I have video of it on my YouTube. But I forgot exactly where I was. I was at a car wash somewhere. I'm gonna have to find this out. Let's go all the way back here. Richland. I was in Richland. And yes, it was April 7th. So yep, there's your radar for April 7th. So screenshot if you want. I'm about to take this down here. Alrighty. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna pop this off. And I'm going to bring myself up full screen for a brief minute so you guys can see my ugly face. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to hop off here. Do me a favor and hit the like button. Let me know if you guys want to have more style Q&A type of stuff like this. I'd love to hop on here and talk to you guys. Just let me know if you guys want to do that. We are talking about getting maybe a potential like a MSC staff and also our partner chasers getting on here, doing like a panel discussion, answer some questions. So let us know if you guys want to do that some more. We love doing it. We love getting to know you guys, and you guys getting to know us. So with that being said, I'm going to hop off here. You guys have a nice night. Stay safe, stay warm next couple of days, and we'll have updates on the page if any new developments happen with potential active stretch of weather for next weekend with any severe chances that may arise. With that being said, adios, guys.